October Red is sponsored by SA Security. Maximum security, minimum fuss.
We are ready to go. Oh, you got to put you... Solomon's just applying his lipstick.
You gotta put that cocoa butter.
Cocoa butter. That's not the real deal, though.
Travel pack, you get me?
I thought you was the real deal. That ain't the real.
It's the travel pack, you know what I'm saying?
What else you got in your
You know the essentials. You gotta stay fresh on the road.
We could have a series actually. So, can I have a chewing gum, please?
You got your chewing gum and your things.
Can I have a chewing gum, please?
Yeah, need it.
How old? How old is that? Oh, it's fresh.
It's fresh, man.
Now I don't know. In your pocket, innit?
Fresh, man.
Some antique chewing gum. Thank you.
Oh yeah, you need to sort this blur out. Last time it kept blurring up the screen on the.
You know what? I didn't have any complaints. You know when I
I'm complaining.
You know when I bust my face, it messed up the camera, innit? I know you keep on laughing about that because you like the thought of me having my face bust up. So my camera's not been the same.
We'll manage.
We'll manage. It's all about the quality. And it's good to see you. Literally, I ran here today. Are you comfortable there? Like,
I'm in the shot here, I can't see.
stiff. You look a bit stiff up.
I'm not.
You relaxed.
Always.
I don't bite, you know.
You just bark.
Okay. I ran here today because you're the person that I wanted to see. I put up a little poll on IG yesterday about what is next for Jeamie Tkv after Saturday's result.
These
and we're
hands.
We're gonna get into that, but you went to the fight, so
Yeah.
I want you to tell me what you saw.
Bit of a slug. What's that? A slug fest. A bit a lot of in close, a lot of holding early, in tight, bit sloppy. Not really much clean boxing. A lot of stuff on the inside, you know. Frazer started quite sharp. He was loading up, you know. There was a lot of grabbing, a lot of holding, but Frazer was working inside, landing the uppercuts, throwing the body shots. But I think he was loading up a bit too much. You know, he was trying to do too much damage in the first few rounds, and I think it showed down the line. He, you know, started to get tired and blew up a little bit as the fight went on. Then,
Do you think Frazer overlooked him?
I don't know if he overlooked him, but I think he would have trained hard and that. You know, trained how he as hard as he does, and he might have expected. I think he would have expected to win. He would have expected to win that fight, definitely. That's why I think he started quite fast. You know, even though there was a lot of holding and that, the shots he was trying to get off, I could see he was trying to load up quite a lot on it. But 12-round fights, you know, you can't just go in there loading up because, you know, so it can be a long night for you if you ain't got the right game plan.
So when you talk about fitness then, because what I saw is the fitness start to fade.
Yeah.
And I'm always one of these, and I've said it, and we can talk about this fight as well, his muscles don't win fights. So I never look at a boxer and think, oh yeah, look at the size of his muscles, he's definitely going to be able to do that, because it doesn't necessarily equate to power. Nah. But there is a side to it, which you have mentioned before, which you're a fan of, which is conditioning. Yeah.
It's essential. You know, it's a you know, when you get into championship level, these are 12-round fights. You know, even your 10-round and 12-round fights, it's a different ballpark to you know, 6-rounders, where you can see the finish line. You can start fast, you know, and if you got someone that's, you know, decently tough in there, you're in competitive fights. You need to be conditioned and you need to be, you know, sometimes you might think you're training hard, but sometimes it takes that little bit extra in training. Go out your comfort zone, because you take yourself out your comfort zone in training, and it's only going to benefit you in the ring. Or if you stay in your comfort zone when you're in the gym, you're going to be very uncomfortable on fight night, that's for sure. And, you know, I know which position I'd rather be in.
How do you do that, though, when you train out of Birmingham?
Yeah.
When you have the sparring, don't get me wrong, I know you've been on the road. I've seen you go to Germany before.
Yeah.
But you're at home. People would say this is your comfort zone. So how do you... All right then, but this is what I'm saying. How do you get out of that?
As a person like me, from a young kid, you know, I've always trained hard. I've never wanted to be in my comfort zone because I've never felt like, you know, I've made it yet. I haven't got to where I've got. You know, that's just within me. You know, I'm always gonna. It doesn't matter if I was training in my back garden. You know, I can put myself out of that comfort zone. You know what I mean? Some people, they can't. They're at home. They need, certain people need pushing. They need external pushing. So unless you got the right coaches that are gonna push you very, very hard out your comfort zone. You know, some people, they can't take themselves to that level on themselves, and they rely on a team or someone else to do it. So it doesn't necessarily mean where you are. Some people take themselves away. You know, look back in the day, you know, you have people like Marvin Hagler, you know, he said he had to lock himself up like a prison for 12 weeks. And you get others who they can stay at home. I think like Beterbiev was one of them. He stays at home with his kids and everything, and you know, undisputed champion because he's got that discipline within him. It depends on the individual, but you need to be honest with yourself. If you know, I can't be at home, you know, with my family, leave that door, kill myself, come home, eat clean, eat right, you know, and you can't take yourself accountable. It's going to show in this game. You need to be accountable for yourself.
And that's one way of looking at it. And sometimes I think us, and like I said, I'm always on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
I always think if you stay close to home, do you really want this? Are you prepared to make that sacrifice? But then it's blown back in my face because I've seen certain fighters go away from home. Looks like they're out of their comfort zone, but I haven't necessarily seen the improvements.
You need to take accountability for yourself. You can, you know, you can be in your hometown training hard, or you can go other side of the world and go and train on the North Pole. It's not going to make no difference if you within yourself are not applying yourself and doing what the hard work and the smart work. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it's not always about just being uncomfortable to get the results. Sometimes you got to do the right thing. You know, and a lot of it comes from within yourself.
That's integrity then, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
When you watched the fight then, because you went over there, I was over in Birmingham with the Matchroom show. How did you find Jeamie Tkv then? Because like this is what I'm saying. We've sat, I think it was out there maybe a couple of years ago, and potentially spoke about you and Jeamie Tkv then because you've boxed already in the amateurs. It's a fighter that you know. I know that you two had a little bit of a to-in and a throw-in online. There's a bit of a history there. But when you saw that fight, you had tipped Frazer to win. Yeah. So when you're seeing that now, talk to me about that. What you actually saw when you... Well, your words, Solomon, it's not mine.
It was close, you know. Like I said, Frazer started early. I think, you know... He didn't make Tkv. Didn't really work too much in the early rounds, and probably give a few of those rounds up. Yeah. But he had a bit more left them for the later rounds. You know, there wasn't really much boxing in the fight. There weren't much back and forth boxing. There was a lot of, you know, hitting, getting into the clinch, working in the clinch, and then I think, you know, Tkv had a bit more in the tank where he was throwing shots out the clinch, and he was catching Frazer a bit. Much more. Frazer wasn't really getting in and out of range very well. You know, there weren't much, you know, mobility there, and there weren't really much shot. But I don't think there was many jabs thrown at all, to be honest, or landed. You know, much, you know, jabbing, you know, slipping right hands. You know, it was all a lot in the inside, kind of sloppy, and then it was like hitting on the break or, you know, odd shots here and there. You know, it'd be a different fight for someone that's like me that can box, move. I can work on the inside as well. You know, a different ball game. How
do you then? Because the thing is, with Jeamie, he's got a nice jab, and I've seen that before. Yeah. But he's able to find his way inside because we have seen that, and then he will make it as messy as possible so it goes his way. Yeah. How do you stop that kind? Because it's pressure, isn't it? How do you stop that pressure?
You just got to. You have good footwork. You know, these people that can't move their feet. You know, they're gonna let a man walk upon them and stay there static. You hit him. He tries to come in. You boom. You hit him, move, hit him. You know, you work him in the clinch. If you get in the clinch, don't be naive. You know what I mean? You've got to just be sharp, switched on, sharp. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not rocket science, but you need to apply yourself to do it.
So the fight then, obviously, Jeamie's the winner. Like I said, I'll go back to that. I put up a poll. Dave Allen's been spoken about in the mix, but I did comment to say, look, you know, I think that you're more suitable because you've come off a credible win. People can say, oh, yeah, she's being biased again. No, I'm not. I'm just saying that you've come off a win. Yeah, Jeamie's come off a win. It's just, you know, where we should be. I was on Box Rec the other day, Solomon, and what a bloody mess that was for the heavyweight.
Look at that.
It was. I was so confused about who was where and what was what. But the way I see it, to me, out of all the Brits, I do believe it's your turn.
It definitely
I'm not
is,
being
you know,
biased. I'm just saying what I
It
think.
is, you know, like I said, I've had the English title, had that for a while. You know, my only one little blip was against that Adelaide 1 round. I come back with a solid win. That's probably against someone better than, you know, better record than Adelaide. You know, other than that, there was no blips in my career. I was English champion. You know, I was trying to get the British title when Wardley had it before he even fought
Yeah,
Adelaide.
I remember that.
You know what's TKV done to get the shot? Really, he's not fought anyone. His fight before Adelaide for the British was against Webster, who I beat twice, and then he fought for the British. He got beat, but because it was controversial, he got ordered a rematch. So you know, if he's in there now and he's got the title, then there's no reason why I should not be the challenger for that next.
So what do you think of Jeamie Tkv as a boxer then? When you look at him, like I said, but amateurs is amateurs, and I guess it doesn't matter. When you look at his pro journey, he's been sort of like somebody that's been under the radar, not really spoken about. Even you had Ben Shalom running into the opposition, running into Frazer, like cheering Frazer on, trying to get him to win.
Yeah, of
so
course.
it seems as go on.
Yeah, he's okay. He's okay. Nothing special. You know, he's a 9-2 fighter. But he's got a title that I want next, you know what I mean? He's all right, you know. I'm going to say he's, you know, a terrible fighter or anything, but I just believe I'm significantly better.
When you say significantly better, in what way?
In every department, you know, I can outbox him and put on a masterclass in every way.
Would you, I know obviously it's down to your management team and your promotional team, but when you look at that fight, is that something that you'd be prepared to like step over if you had to go and box on another platform? Should your promoter and your management team be happy with that? That's the caveat.
I want a British title, man. I don't really care about the name
politics
on the ring canvas and the name on the ropes and the corner posts and that. You know, I want to be going in a ring and coming out with the title on my shoulder. That's all that matters to me, and obviously the right money in the bank after.
There was, in fact, let me see if I can play it. I got sent something from Fight Disciples, so I'm going to shout out my colleague. But have a listen to this if you can. Hold on.
I was so disappointed in Frazer Clarke. So disappointed. This was your moment. This was it, man. You know, boxers have lost their Sky deal. They've come over to the BBC. It's a massive opportunity, terrestrial attention. Back on the beat, where your Olympic performances were, there's a bit of familiarity there. Boxer are going to basically your hometown, Derby. I know he's just down the road in Burton-on-Trent, but you know, it's a couple of miles away. It's your fans, it's all set up for you. It's a vacant British title fight. So you've had 2 cracks at the British title, you've fallen short. First time, unluckily. Second time, spectacularly. Okay, it's all set up for you now, Frazer. Ben Whittaker's fucked off. Adam Azim's not even fighting on this channel. Like, you're basically the salvation of boxer on BBC.
Yeah.
Big win here, pick up the British title, couple of months' time, defend it, maybe a Dave Allen, something like that, build it up, spend the next 6 months having 2 or 3 defences of the British title on the BBC, getting eyeballs,
We get the
getting
picture.
people watching boxer.
So
I think, you know, it definitely fumbled the bag with that one. It was all on the plate. You know, it was all set up for Frazer to, you know, put the spotlight on him. But like, all that matters is what happens in that ring, and you know, it doesn't go to the script in boxing. Yeah, you know, like he had his hometown BBC. You know, boxer. You know, I think they need salvation now with that BBC. They've lost 2 Olympians. You know, Frazer lost obviously the fight. They've lost Ben Whittaker to Matchroom. They've just got the BBC. You know, they need someone to save them.
the cornering.
Someone big and handsome.
Who's that then?
Right here, man. Right here.
The cornering. Now I saw. I think Jeamie caught him. I think it was an overhand. There's a flurry of shots coming in, overhand, and it literally looked like Frazer didn't like it at all. He started to go backwards. It wasn't very nice, and I thought, oh dear, this now it's starting to look like it could be potentially curtains.
Yeah.
He goes back into the corner. His mouth's all bloody. So I'm thinking, is that jaw opened up again?
Yeah.
Or I'm just in safety mode now. And then he's trainer's trying to talk to him, and it's like, can you hear me? Because it's like you weren't there at all.
Glazed over.
And I was like, he needs to pull him out.
Yeah.
But he didn't. But you were there. What did you think? I know you can't hear the corner, but
yeah, he did look, in distress. He was very unsteady going back to the corner. On his feet and that. He's always gonna think I can carry on Frazer. He's never gonna. You're never going to say, "Oh, pull me out," and that. And the corner's thinking, it's the last couple of rounds, getting through it. But it depends how much your corner really cares about you, because, if something goes wrong in that last round, it can go really wrong. But they carried on, scraped through it. In the end, didn't get stopped. But they could have pulled him out at that point potentially.
But they chose not to. What do you think happens with Frazer next? It's something that I've been thinking about for the past 24 hours. What does he do? Am I even in a position to give my opinion? So I have to ask a fighter. I don't know, Solomon.
I couldn't really tell you. I couldn't really tell you. He's I don't know where would he go. It's it's not British level now. He's had 3 cracks at the British. It's got to be sub-British level something. Don't know. Johnny Fisher. He's fighting next week, isn't he? I think.
Yeah, he's in Monte Carlo this week.
Monte Carlo, Johnny Fisher, Frazer I think he will feel he's much ahead of Johnny Fisher. But it's pro game now. You're not always as ahead as you think you are. You take a loss, you got to sort of take a step back
down the ladder,
and see
yeah.
what your opportunities are. It's for them to decide. I'm not really going to think too much about it.
Nah, no, you don't care because you're thinking about yourself. So. Obviously, back to you then. You're looking to be fresh, looking to be ready for 2026.
Yeah.
Now that this has happened, I know this is a fight that you had your eye on anyway. Who do you want to be your next 3 opponents? You've got 3 opponents to think about for 2026. I don't know how often you're going to fight, but say 3 opponents. Who do you want them to be and why?
Next would be obviously Tkv for the British. That's what I'd love that fight next. Pick that title up. Then Fabio Wardley for the world title.
So you'd want to jump like that?
I'd love to, because I've always wanted to fight Wardley from the British title. So
So it's a person that you just want to get in the ring with.
I just believe he has got himself to the front of the queue.
Through his hard work though.
It is hard work, but I just believe it's beatable. It's been shown that it's beatable, but no one can finish the job, and I feel like I can finish the job. You know what I mean? In terms of put the full 12 rounds together. He's got that world title. That would be great. But I don't think they're going to be looking at me now. They weren't looking at me for the British. You know what I mean? It's very calculated that I didn't fight him from them. So I got to make up some ground and try and get on them coattails and hopefully get myself there.
The third one then?
Anybody, man. Anybody. I don't even know, man. Anybody. Anybody. I don't know, man. Someone that's up there in the rankings at the time, because you can always change in every fight. It can change.
Yeah, true.
So
it is interchangeable.
Someone else that I can get good money and be up there with the best of them. That's where I want to be.
Why do you say that you tried to get that Fabio fight? I was there when you went over to Saudi, you went onto the ring apron, and he was like, "Oh, here he is, blah blah blah." I remember it. I remember it as clear as day, and I was like, "Yeah, fair play to you, because you got to put your name out there."
Yeah.
You more or less said it was strategic that he didn't fight you.
Yeah.
Why?
Because he knows they know how tricky I am. He's seen me in the gym sparring. I've been in there with him. He's been around me. He's seen me. He knows what I'm about. Very difficult fight for him, technically, skill-wise, and then they know that I'm very tough as well. So, unless you do something mad like Adelaide, with that mad clip me on the top of the head with 1 in a million thing, very hard man to beat. And that's lightly struck once with that one. I don't think it's gonna happen. It's never happened to me before, and I don't think it will ever happen again. You've got to do something mad's got to happen to stop me. I think they're well aware of that.
We've got, someone I wouldn't mind seeing you in with, and fair enough, maybe he's past where he should be, but Filip Hrgović, only because of the boxer.
Yeah, good fight. Good Filip Hrgović. Yeah, you know, he's up there with the top. You know, he's beat Adelaide. Done what I should have done against him, really.
Yeah, really, really did outbox him,
it would
didn't
have
he?
been the sort of similar thing what I would have done against him. A good fight. He's up there. You know, he's someone that's always, you know, been up there. He's beat Joyce as well, didn't he? He's on a good run. That'd be a good scalp. Definitely be a good scalp. Someone like Hrgović.
But you've got a couple of heavyweights that have jumped on the wagon now. They've jumped up from cruiserweight as well. Lawrence Okoli's kind of like high up the pecking order. I think he's WBC #1, so he's sort of up there with Fabio. But there's a couple of them that potentially could be rallying for that British title, which are Richard Riakporhe and Jordan Thompson. So give us a lowdown on what you think of those fighters, and obviously why you believe you're better.
I just believe in myself. You know, they've come up from cruiserweight after, you know, being defeated, and you know, they're quite big cruiserweights. So I probably thought I'm killing myself at the weight maybe, and I'll give it a crack at heavyweight. Don't have to worry about, you know, cutting myself down. You know, neither of them have done anything at heavyweight yet. You know, really proved themselves. So, you know, you got to give it time to marinate, as they say. But I don't really think too much about it. You know,
the only reason why I'm saying that is TKV's with Boxer, so's Richard Riakporhe. Yeah. They probably might want to try and build Richard Riakporhe, so he might be someone that could sneak in there.
Yeah,
just because of the Boxer.
There,
I know. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because remember, Dave Allen was supposed to fight Jeamie Tkv, and then Ben Shalom did his wrangle tangle and got it ordered for Frazer. Do you understand what I'm saying?
This is the snakes and ladders behind the scenes of pro boxing, man. You fucking what you think should happen ain't always what happens.
Doesn't,
you know, it depends who's you know, pulling the strings behind. But you know, you have to just wait and see. That's out of my control. All I can do is push for the fight, say I want the fight, get my management and everything to you know,
pattern
push
it
for
up,
it, and hopefully get the board on board, which will be good to get the board to say. You know,
that's what we need. You need it ordered.
In a position
you need
where,
it ordered.
You know, he should be ordered for this title.
I think that's the only. To be fair, I think that's the only way it's going to happen is if it's.
And then you can look on paper and say, look, it's ordered. If you don't fight him, you know, he's pulling back out of it. That not me, nothing to do with me. You know what I mean?
Looking further down the line, and I guess it is looking further down the line. Would you fight to defend it, or would you drop it and move on?
So it really depends on the opponents that are there. If there's a good fight for the British, then yeah. If they say, right, you've got a world ranked fight here, good money, put in a good position, you take that, don't you? You have to just see what's on the table at the time. You can never predict that far ahead in boxing. You wish you could, but you can't always know what's going on. So
what if they offered you that Terramona, Justice Honey, what's the other one? Torres. There's another one, Ali somebody from America. These are the American ones now.
Yeah.
There's Miller, not Baby, Jared Anderson.
Yeah.
Forgive me. Jagba. There's all of these as well. Because I'm thinking, fair enough, say if the British, he gets into some kind of wrangle-tangle politics, potentially the Americans, because everyone knows who the Americans are, and these are good names to like build your resume.
Yeah.
What about those guys?
Yeah,
have you sparred? Have you fought Torres?
Sparred with Torres a few rounds, in America. Because I went over there on GB with a couple of times, a couple of different years. We went over, sparred with him. Good sparring. I did very well with him. You know, and he went on to win Olympic silver. He's a good fighter. But you know, I was done very well with him in there. So yeah, I've done a bit of work with Torres.
Moses Atama goes up against Jermaine Franklin. I do like the fight because Jermaine Franklin, he's not been stopped.
Yeah.
He's lost arguably to Dillian. He lost to Anthony Joshua. Good fight for him.
Yeah.
It's another domestic. It's another domestic again. Even though Moses seems to be on this fast trajectory. It's like he's going up there. You guys are sort of like on.
It's a well-managed trajectory with him. They give him the right opponents to put him his name ahead.
Yeah.
Without really having the right, fight any prime fighters. Really, you look at people like.
When you say what do you mean prime fighters?
You know, someone that's young coming to win. And
which is what I said, Justice Honey, Terramona.
Yeah, them kind of guys, you know what I mean? Like guys like that. Not like an older fighters that have had good wins in the past, but, you know, are not at the level anymore. Things like that. But, Franklin, they're just banking on toughness. They're really not looking at, even there, they're not thinking Franklin can beat him skill-wise, they're thinking, right,
Rounds.
Franklin can give him rounds. That's all they're looking at, rounds. You know, they know that on a skill level he's not
Yeah.
gonna really beat him unless he pulls something mad off. So even then, you know, it's like you find someone you know you're gonna beat him. It's just whether you stop him or whatever. And then if you stop him, they go, "Oh, thingy, Joshua didn't stop him. Dylan White didn't stop him."
Yeah.
That's just the comparison. It's not like my man can beat you. Like, you know what I mean? He's not gonna. He'll try, Franklin. Don't get me wrong, but they will see it and think, you know, we should be beating this guy on a technical level.
And it's funny that you mentioned Joshua. He's going to fight Jake Paul. Absolutely insane fight. It's insane, but you know what? If somebody slaps that change,
Easy money.
I'm
easy
taking
money.
it.
It's like a free lottery ticket. That's the winning ticket. You know, it's like you're saying, you know, you're gonna go and do some sparring next week with a light heavyweight that's had 10 fights ever, and you're gonna get 50 million for it. Fucking, it's like a walk in the park, and you don't even need to train. If I was Josh, I'd have no corner team, one man to give you a water bottle, because what am I going to give people 5% or 10% of 50 million to do nothing? He's boxed long enough where he should know without anybody there what's in front of him. He don't need any instruction in the corner. You just need a water bottle, someone to give you some water,
some guidance.
Yeah, like you don't. If you don't knock him out,
Well, this is what I'm saying.
and he looks like he's pulling his punches, then you know there's something in the contract. If he's not pulling his punches, he'll just knock him clean out. First round, maybe the second round, or he might think I'll walk him around for a few. Do you know what I can see it being like? You know, Mayweather McGregor.
Yes.
Mayweather toyed with him for a bit. You know, people go, "Oh, McGregor's caught him with this shot," but Mayweather,
remember.
Mayweather never boxed with his hands like that in his life.
Yeah.
But for that, he just walked around like that.
He
let him
did.
touch him. Then when he
Had us
knew,
all fooled.
tied him out, then just stopped
He
him.
did, yeah.
He could do that. It could be that script, or Joshua could say, "Fuck it, man, just take him out."
Well,
Take him out. But I don't know.
Anything could happen. He's gone to. I did like a 45-minute video. It makes me sound like I'm a bit crazy actually, about him going to Team Music, and my argument was, you know, this soul searching, this like constantly looking for yourself.
Yeah.
It's like you need to look in the mirror and look for yourself.
Yeah.
He's gone to Team Music now.
Yeah.
What do you think of like the constant change of trainer and maybe not even the constant change, Solomon, the fact that he doesn't seem to stay with them particularly long to let that potential gel fix, or I don't know. How long does it take you to know whether you're suited to someone?
It can take a while, you know. You go through fights, you know, years, and you know, you can't do one fight, one camp. And if it don't go the way I think, no coach is going to change it that much, especially when you're seasoned. You know, you've been through your whole career. You're not going to just switch up now, are you? You might get a few little tweaks here and there, but you know, I like to think look at Larry Holmes said. He goes, when I got, you know, the experience part of my career, he goes, I didn't even need my corner team. He goes, I just needed someone to give me some refreshment in the corner, give me a drink. He goes, I've boxed for that long. I know how to box. I know how to assess what's in front of me. That's what Larry Holmes said. He goes, I just need someone to give me refresh me with the water. He goes, you know, I don't need that many instructions really. I've boxed that long. I know what I'm doing in there. And you know, that's how it should really be. You do need your coach to give you some instructions, but your coach ain't gonna control you.
Do you think he's a bit lost?
I don't know. You know, just looking for maybe a magic wand to be the right one, but it's never just going to be the right one. Sometimes, you know, it's never going to be one person, just everything happens right, you know. It's just not the way the world works, is it?
I get that, but I thought I'd ask you the question anyway. Speaking, one more fight I want to ask you about, and it's the Benavidez versus Anthony Yard. And what I want to ask you about is the preparation. Was there preparation for that fight in your eyes as a professional boxer?
What, for Yard?
Yeah. What did when you
I didn't really follow it, to be honest, that much.
Didn't you?
No. I thought I knew.
Oh right, that's it. Let's just cut the camera.
Yeah, I didn't really. I know Benavidez would be, you know, ahead. Yard, it's a strange one with Yard. It's like he'll fight journeyman and then he'll fight for a world title, lose, and then, you know, have a tune up. Well, don't get me wrong, you know, he's jumping straight in there. You got to give credit to the man for, you know, jumping in up the levels. But, you know, it's great marketing the way they've managed to get him on that level. But, You know, really good strategic management. Thinking about winning those, I think they're chucking him in like, give it a go.
Give it a go.
See what you can pull off. Not really like, you know.
There's no strategy.
Not like,
is there?
you know, we're going to build this, we can become a world champion, we can, you know, you can dominate. Give it a go sort of thing, and whatever happens, happens sort of thing. Yeah, so don't get me wrong, he made some good money. Maybe he would never have beat these guys in another way, but, you know...
can't knock the hustle, right?
You can't knock the hustle, you know. If that's the way it goes, you made the money, you know, you jumped in there. What's he 3 world titles?
Yeah.
And he's been stopped in all of them. But he's made some good money, and he's got his name out there. And if he can sit back and say, you know what, I'll give it a go, I've got good money in the bank, and fair play to him.
What do you think about his culture was getting like ripped to pieces in the media? Not by me, by the way.
Years, and they say about the Mayweather pads, it's not going to suit him, this, that, and the other. That's what they've done. That's what they do, and you know what I mean, not me to comment on other people's training.
See, you're so diplomatic.
Because I know boxing's a hard game. You know, you don't need me coming and going, you train like a cunt, you train like this.
Oh, so that's what you really think.
You know what I mean? Who am I to say what they're doing? You know what I mean? No, let them do their thing. It might not be the most effective thing. It might not be the best way to get the best performance out of him, but at the end of the day, they're living their life. You know, he's in a hard game, which is boxing. He's making money. They make it.
3 words then that you use to describe who you are as a fighter and what makes you different from everybody else. I can think of 3 words. I'm only joking. Go on. I've known you forever now.
A serious guy in the ring.
Serious guy.
A serious guy in that ring. Yeah, man. Serious.
Did you know that this is like a grammar school boy?
Yeah, man.
This is like a very highly, what did you get in your GCSEs?
I did all 1A stuff, 3As, 7Bs or something, a few Cs.
Look at this. So you...
that's just natural though, like I never used to revise and that. I was just very naturally intelligent from a young kid. And my brother was the same, you know. You know, we're just not dunces, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? We still come home to the same, you know, Benefit Street, you know, still on free school meals out there. You know, some people don't understand. They say, oh, you're grammar school, you're posh. I said, are you mad? Like, they think it's private school where you pay for it. Grammar school, you don't pay for it. You're just clever enough to pass the test, no matter where you come from. I'm from Smethwick, you know what I mean? I grew up on benefits. You know, going to grammar school with free school meals. I was taking my receipt for the uniform to get the money back from my dad and that, you know what I mean? But I was just intelligent, so we got into the school, you know, it was a good school. My dad's obviously trying to get me and my brother onto a better level in life, you know what I mean? And you know, we both ended up being professional sportsmen in the end, which was mad. My dad was a professional basketballer. We went to the grammar school and still ended up being obviously pro boxer. My brother a pro rugby player, so it was just in the genes, man. You know, we just was destined to be what we're destined to be. But yeah, I went to a good school because I was very intelligent and I was lucky enough to pass that 11+ test and get in there, and you know, learn a few things. You know, I'm not. You know, sometimes I don't speak too much, but you know, I'm very intelligent and I'm very, very wary of what's going on around me.
You know what? I like to hear that. It's nice to like just probably open up a bit of a layer on yourself. There's stuff that like people don't know because you are.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but people have to get like attached to a person, and to get attached to a person, have to know them a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I wouldn't have known that you was a grammar school boy.
I don't talk about nothing. In boxing. I'm not going to talk about nothing in my personal life. I'm here to box. I'm here to leave my personal life, my past burdens, my past traumas, this, that, and the other behind. I'm here to box. So I just don't speak about anything. I just talk about just do my boxing. That's it, man. Then when I'm retired world champion, then I can speak about it. You know, I just want to focus on the job.
As long as you come and speak to me about it first.
Yeah, okay. We'll get the documentary.
Yeah, definitely. Because I know there's a lot more. Definitely a lot more behind that smile with you. You can see there's definitely a lot more going on there. And one day I'm gonna dig it out.
One day, maybe. One day.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, if you are a Brummie, you've got to. If you're from the West Mids, I think we really need to start to support each other more. We're quick to slag each other off. We're quick to dig the knife in. And we're supporting everyone that's from every other city except for ours.
It's true.
I mean, I'm on YouTube getting slated about my accent every other day, and I'm not changing it because you know how many people in the media aren't from London, but they put on that accent like they are because they're fake.
Fake things.
We're not doing it.
That's the thing with Brummies. We're not fake. We're just real, innit? Real people, man. That's what Birmingham people are like, you know. There's no fluffing about it. There's no mask and all this bullshit. Apart from when you put your Halloween masks on and your pumpkin on your head. But you know,
That's Halloween, though.
you know, we're authentic people, innit? And that's what people should get behind us, the Brummies.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Solomon Dacres, we are sponsored by SA UK Maximum Security, Minimum Fuss.
Thank you very much.
Red is sponsored by SA Security. Maximum security, minimum fuss.